Good evening, you're now with me, Razi Ahmad for TVS Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight. Construction of a new 300-kilometer Marudi-Long Terawan road is set to begin next year, boosting development across northern Sarawak. Police will ramp up presence and patrols in school zones nationwide to deter student crime. And in world news, thousands evacuate the Philippine coast as tropical storm Fangshan barrels toward land, bringing heavy rain and coastal flooding warnings. The Sarawak government is set to begin construction of a new road from Marudi to Long Terawan next year. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Joritun Openg says the high-impact project will become the main connective tissue between Marudi, Baram, Limbang and Lawas, boosting economic development in that entire region.
Ia akan bermula tahun depan dan dijangka mengambil masa lebih kurang 4-5 tahun. 300 km. Ia akan membuka kawasan di Baram dan bermaknanya ia akan menjadi satu katalis bagi pembangunan di kawasan tersebut.
Abang Johari said the new economy development in the area is in line with Sarawak's push toward a green economy and carbon reservoirs, now a major focus for the state government. He adds that the project will boost rural infrastructure by creating land links between villages and longhouses and cutting residents' reliance on water transport.
Sarawak is now in the final stage of talks to upgrade its native court system. Premier Abang Johari says the discussions involving Dayak leaders in Gabungan Parti Sarawak are focused on refining key details before full implementation.
They are in the final discussion stage dan mereka mengambil kira beberapa aspek yang harus diperhalusi dalam kita mengangkatkan Mahkamah Bumi Putera. Tapi yang penting ialah ada pembaharuan mengikut lunas-lunas undang-undang dan juga kita membuat kajian seperti undang-undang di New Zealand dan juga Kanada.
Met after officiating Parti Rakyat Sarawak's 6th Triennial Delegates Conference earlier today, Abang Johari said Minister in the Premier's Department, Datuk Seri John Sikitayai, was sent to New Zealand and Canada to study their indigenous legal systems.
Kita telah menghantar mereka untuk membuat framework undang-undang yang sejajar dengan apa yang dilihat di negara-negara tersebut. Dan ia adalah hendak dihalusi sebelum disenaraikan. Yang keduanya ialah hakim-hakim adalah mereka yang daripada fakulti undang-undang yang terlatih dalam terbit undang-undang. Okey.
Abang Johari said Sarawak needs a legal framework that can effectively govern native customs, especially on native customary rights or NCR land issues. He notes that court decisions made under civil law often clash with Sarawak's customary principles, underscoring the need for a more suitable judicial system. At the same time, he announced that the state government has approved the establishment of law faculties at University and Swinburne, Sarawak to strengthen the local legal framework.
Meanwhile, the top post in the Sarawak People's Party, PRS, is now officially up for grabs. The party's president, Datuk Joseph Salanggandum, announced that the minister in the Premier's Department, Datuk Sri John Sikitayai, will face off against Pelagus Assemblyman Wilson Nyabong Ijang for the presidential seat.
The post of PRS president is being contested by Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri John Sikitayai and Yang Berhormat Wilson Nyabong Ijang, the Adun Proklama. I plead with all the delegates for the main body to exercise your voting rights seriously. All candidates are known to you, and your choice will make what PRS you want, and one that remains a must-have component of GPS.
The 6th Triennial Delegates Conference also marks PRS' 21st anniversary and will elect a new Supreme Council for the 2025 to 2028 term.
In other news, the Sarawak government says it is ready to help rebuild the Bidayo Longhouse at the Sarawak Cultural Village, which was destroyed in a fire on October 12. Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Minister Dato Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah says even though the village is not under his ministry's direct jurisdiction, the matter will be brought to the State Cabinet to speed up reconstruction efforts.
Kementerian Pelancongan, Industri Kreatif ataupun dan juga seni budaya, walaupun ya ada hybrid sikit, saya juga memantau apa yang berlaku, memandangkan ini adalah pusat pelancongan, produk pelancongan yang utama, antara produk pelancongan yang utama. Sebab itulah walaupun dia bukan terletak di bawah naungan kementerian saya, tapi saya ambil tahu dan mahu melihat agar bencana kerosakan yang berlaku ini dapat baik pulih ataupun dibina semula. Ya.
While visiting the fire-ravaged Bidayo Longhouse today, Abdul Karim also directed management to seal off the area to prevent trespassing or loss of heritage materials and to strengthen security around the premises. For now, the Sarawak Cultural Village remains open to visitors with limited access to the affected area.
Malaysia's tourism slogans have left a lasting mark on our culture. To know Malaysia is to love Malaysia. And of course, Malaysia, truly Asia. In 2026, the stage is set for the next chapter of our tourism story. Decimal Point welcomes you to explore Visit Malaysia 2026.
Back on TVS Nightline, a new strategy to increase police presence in schools will be implemented soon as part of the government's efforts to curb crime among students. Home Minister Dato Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail says the move follows a directive from the Cabinet to the Home Ministry and the Royal Malaysia Police to conduct more frequent patrols in school areas.
Kabinet mengarahkan supaya pihak KDN melalui agensi polis untuk mengadakan satu schedule lawatan yang lebih kerap dan untuk tahu di mana kawasan yang kami perlukan kami perlu tingkatkan rondaan ini. Rondaan ini bersifat omnipresent, ya, omnipresent. Maknanya keberadaan pasukan polis di situ boleh menunjukkan bagaimana polis sebenarnya memberikan fokus tumpuan dan mengambil berat soal aspek keselamatan satu kawasan sekolah.
Beyond regular patrols, he said police have also been instructed to develop more creative community programs to raise awareness among students about crime prevention. According to him, the initiative aligns with the government's new student digital safety policy, with the police ramping up patrols and engagement in school zones nationwide. The Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development is prepared to provide emotional support and counseling assistance to the families of both the victim and the suspect involved in the horrific stabbing of a 16-year-old girl by a 14-year-old boy. Minister Dato Sri Nancy Shukri said officers from the Social Welfare Department were sent immediately after the incident to assess the type of support needed, including early intervention measures.
Kami memang sudah ada pegawai kami terutama sekali JKM terus pergi ke keluarga mangsa tersebut, tapi dari segi keluarga pihak yang terbabit itu kami belum dapat mendekati mereka kerana ini adalah dalam siasatan polis, maka kami tidak boleh mengganggu. Biarlah mereka dulu, tenangkan mereka. Jadi kita akan melihat keadaannya sama ada sesuai ke tidak untuk kita pergi mendekati mereka sebab saya rasa mereka masih lagi trauma juga.
Speaking at the Kasih Keluarga program and the launch of the 2025 National Family Month, Nancy said aid will be provided in stages depending on the family's readiness to receive counseling or intervention.
Thousands of residents in the Philippines are leaving their homes along the Pacific coast today as weather experts warned of coastal flooding ahead of Tropical Storm Fangshan's landfall. The storm was forecast to hit Catanduanes, an impoverished island of 270,000 people, later on Saturday with gusts of up to 90 kilometers an hour. A second landfall is expected on the main island of Luzon tomorrow morning. The government weather service said Fangshan will bring heavy rainfall along with minimal to moderate risk of coastal flooding from 1 to 2 meter waves being pushed ashore by the disturbance. Nearly 17,000 residents of the eastern province of Albay, along with more than 9,000 in nearby Catanduanes Island, moved to safer ground. The evacuations are a well-rehearsed routine in a region that is often the first major landmass struck by cyclones that form in the western Pacific Ocean. The Catanduanes provincial government ordered local officials to activate their respective evacuation plans for residents of high-risk areas, including the coast, low-lying communities, and landslide-prone slopes. The Philippines is hit by around 20 storms and typhoons each year, which routinely strike areas where millions of people live in poverty. Scientists warn that storms are becoming more powerful as the planet warms due to human-driven climate change. In 2015, a deal was signed in Vienna by Iran, China, Britain, France, Germany, Russia, and the US, which saw the lifting of international sanctions against Iran in exchange for restrictions on its nuclear program. But today, Iran says it is no longer bound by these restrictions, as the landmark deal has expired. The pact had already been in tatters after Washington unilaterally withdrew during President Donald Trump's first term, with Iran later pulling back from its commitments. The reimposition last month of UN sanctions at the urging of 3 of the deal's European signatories rendered the accord effectively moot. Iran's foreign ministry says all of the provisions of the deal, including the restrictions on the Iranian nuclear program and the related mechanisms, are considered terminated. Tehran, however, reiterates its commitment to diplomacy. The deal's termination day was set for October 18, 2025, exactly 10 years after it was enshrined in the UN Security Council Resolution 2231. The accord capped Iran's uranium enrichment at 3.67% in exchange for sanctions relief and provided for strict supervision of its nuclear activities by the UN's nuclear watchdog. But Washington left the deal in 2018 and reinstated sanctions, after which Tehran began stepping up its nuclear program. In July, Iran suspended cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency following the war with Israel, with Tehran pointing to the agency's failure to condemn Israeli and U.S. strikes on its nuclear facilities. The unprecedented bombing campaign by Israel and the retaliation by Iran during the 12-day war derailed ongoing nuclear negotiations between Tehran and Washington. At the initiative of France, Britain, and Germany, widespread UN sanctions against Iran returned into force in late September for the first time in a decade. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I am Razi Ahmad. Thank you for watching and have a good night.